Right, today we're going to be talking about colour correction and using pre-pigging. As you can see from this chart which has been created, it shows you your base colours which are on the left, and it shows you the colours on the right that you would pre-pig with. Now you would only ever pre-pig if the client's hair was bleached. So if the hair was naturally a base 8 and they wanted to go to a base 5, you would not need to pre-pig. However, if they were bleached, which means they are above a 10, and they wanted to go darker, then you would need to pre-pig. Now depending on what colour the client wants to go, so say for example the client wanted to go to a light brown, which is a base 5, you would pre-pig with the corresponding colour on the right hand side, which is a red, and the red actually corresponds to anything 5 and below. So some people do say that you don't pre-pig if you're going black, but I always would, because when you bleach hair you are actually removing colour pigments. Also, if you were going to a base 7, you would pre-pig with an orange. So the colours that I like to use are the semi-permanent colours to pre-pig with, and I tend to use something called Weller Perfecton, which is really nice. They are keratin, so they do keep the hair nice and strong, but they are semi-permanent. It's like a cordial, you squeeze out the colour. Depending on the strength, you can dilute them with water. You can use them as colour refreshers as well. If your red is fading, you could colour refresh with a red. So this here is the red, it's a /44. You simply squeeze the bottle and out comes the lotion. Now when you're pre-pigging, obviously you're going to have dry blonde hair, and you're going to need to apply this neat to the client's hair. So I wouldn't dilute this with water, I would apply this neat, and I would possibly put it in a spray bottle container to spray it over the client's hair. So this is the red, this is /44. We've got the copper, which is the orange, which is the /43. If you want the yellow, which is the gold, which is the /3. So if, for example, you wanted the orange red, you would need to mix equal amounts of these two together in a spray bottle and spray it on the hair. Now the most important thing is that when you spray it on the hair, that you don't leave patches, because if there are patches before, there will be patches after. So you're going to spray the colour on the hair or apply it with a tint bowl and brush, cover it completely, then dry the hair. Make sure that the hair is nice and dry, and then you're going to apply your chosen colour that as selected. So if the client has chose the base 5, you would pre-pig all over with a red. So inform the client that they're going to look very red to start off with. It's not going to be the end result, but this is what they have to do to go through the process. And then so you'll cover the whole head red, you'll dry the hair with a hairdryer, completely dry it, and then mix up your base 5 or whatever colour, your 553, your 503, whatever colour you want to do, and then apply that as normal. So putting it on the client's hair, doing roots first and then mid-lengths and ends after, developing correctly, following the time schedule, and then when you wash it off it should be done. So that is pre-pigging, and remember it is only done on blonde bleached hair.